Today's video, we're going to go over the Titan Fitness plate-loaded deltoid and shoulder press machine. Now that's a really long name. We're going to shorten it up by just calling it the Titan Fitness shoulder machine. Now before we jump into the review, there's just a couple of things I want to point out. First off, whether you order from Amazon like I did or direct from Titan Fitness, the shoulder press is going to ship in one box, and it's a heavy box. You're going to need at least one other set of hands to move this around. Just want to keep in mind that it's huge. I've been comparing this to a dining room table. Now the reasoning for the one box is this base you're seeing right here, this triangle shape, is one piece. So I'm guessing that they decided, let's jam everything in one box. It's going to be heavier than heck, but at least, you know, on their end, they'll save money on shipping. But that explains why they use one box and not two. This pouch right here, it's not your directions. They do give you some incentives in here, but I'm a little disappointed that they didn't physically give us a hard copy of instructions. Inside the pouch will be Unleash Your Titan and a QR to get those instructions. So the thing with Titan, always keep in mind, is they're not going to put actual instructions, a manual, with any of their products. You're gonna have to scan this. I used my cell phone to put this together. Kind of annoying, but it's not my first Titan that I've purchased. Kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you, but yeah, you're gonna be going off of a tablet, your computer. I guess you could print them off your computer or a cell phone like I did. And they give you two decals: Unleash Your Titan, Titan Fitness, so you can stick this wherever you want, and then a nice all white, you can see it right here, Titan Fitness. So some nice incentives right here. I don't remember getting any of these stickers with prior purchases, but after putting this together, I sure as heck remembered. Yeah, they didn't put the hard copy with this. That's everything out of the box that I just wanted to cover before we jump into the actual review. I want to just mention a couple of things about putting this together, and don't be intimidated. I know just looking at this, it seems like a lot. I always say this, if I could do this, anybody could. When unpacking everything, it could seem a little complex. There's a lot of pieces. But after a couple of steps, literally there's about 5 steps in the manual, and then you're completely done. The first step is putting the feet onto the triangle base. And then this part right here, which kind of intimidated me a little bit. This is separate. This is separate. You install the handles and the weight horns on each side, and then they come together over here, and a shaft goes through right here. This right here works perfectly. Everything. Pretty impressed with it. The only thing is that if you tighten down on this base, keeping these two together, you're never going to get it to fit on here. So I had to loosen everything up and then slide it. Now I was the only one home when I put this together, so what I did was I tipped this down so this was on the ground, allowing me to put the shaft in, tighten it, then standing it back up. And once that was completed, it was just a matter of putting your deltoid on each side and then the pads. I mean, it was pretty cut and dry. I realized, I really had nothing to worry about. And, once I sat down on the machine and I tested it out, I was blown away. It's a great machine. The only thing that I want to say, I'm disappointed. We have some handles right here, and I'm going to get into that. I wish they had another handle where instead of grabbing it this way, we could grab it this direction and work another area of the shoulder. So we're just getting 2 shoulder workouts on this machine. And I did leave the right and the left stickers on the deltoid portion because there is a certain way that these will fit, and I'm glad that they labeled them. These weren't labeled. I guess it really didn't matter, just matching it up to a picture. There are steps in the instructions that can get a little confusing, and believe me, I had to walk away as I was putting this together. I mean, it could be a little too much at first, but if you feel that, you can see this went together fine at the end. Just take a break, grab a water, just collect yourself and come back down. And everything just kind of worked its way out. I had a heck of a time getting this on here alone. So having to tip it over just took that bit of just walking away and going, what if I just tip it over? I should be able to slide it right in. Now this machine does come with the 2-inch Olympic style weight horns. I'm used to this on all of the machines that I have, on both the shoulder press and your deltoids. And if you're just starting out, there are resistance on both the press and the deltoid movement, where you won't have to put on a lot of weight. You'll feel that you are targeting that muscle. The seat is adjustable. You can raise it or lower it. And the thing about the seat is, this is the first out of, I believe, 3 Titan Fitness products I have where it's a different material. So I'm not sure if this is a newer piece of equipment compared to something like their tricep pushdown or their chest machine, where it had more of a like a vinyl cushioning than this style. So something to keep in mind, that, you know, if you're going for that look, you're going to get more of a similar, almost cloth feel. Now you do get 2 different handles for the shoulder press. Initially I tried the first handle, it didn't feel right. Moving back just a few inches, completely different feel. This is the side that I'm always going to use. I just wish, and I know that all body types are different, and that's why they gave us options, but they could have did something where we could have grabbed it in a different position, hit the shoulders just a little bit. But the thing with Titan is you mostly get 2 different workouts out of every machine you get. So it's pretty accustomed that those are the 2 workouts. We're not going to get a third different exercise, a third different target than just the 2. And the padding for the deltoids is the same material as both the back and the seat cushioning. You can adjust the height with the seat if these don't line up perfectly. And there's just one thing you have to do this workout versus the shoulder press. Now this right here is what's going to enable you to raise this up so you can do the deltoids, and it works absolutely perfect. The way that they engineered this, as confusing and complicating as it might seem when you're putting this together, it goes together smooth and it works perfect. Just standing up, you raise the shoulder press and you hook this down so it falls right there on the stopper, and it's high enough where you could now work deltoids without worrying about hitting the shoulder press. And this position right here is probably the image that you're going to come across online, and it looks goofy, and I was kind of questioning it. Did have a couple of people that reached out and said, hey, I have this machine and it works perfect. So it gave me some reassurance, because when you're looking at all the shoulder machines out there, there's not a lot of them, and some of them can get, you know, in the thousands. This was priced at $5.99 on Amazon. Now from Titan Fitness, they are running a deal. I'm not sure how long this is going to go for, but it is down to $4.99 right now. And after working out on this for a couple of days and just checking out the durability, I would say that this is worth $4.99. $5.99 is pretty steep. It's expensive. I mean, when you're talking about adding workout equipment, knowing that they came down to $4.99, you might want to hold off and wait for it to drop if you're thinking about picking this up. Now for me, working the deltoids, any gym that I have ever belonged to, this hasn't been something where I was able to max out weight. And just listening to no weights on here at all, it doesn't make a lot of noise. This kind of clicks a little bit. The handles do move around, but it's a smooth motion. And honestly, there is some resistance that I am feeling. I did do shoulders this morning, so I'm not going to max it out right now. But, you know, it feels pretty good just doing this. And this is something that I would suggest doing at the end of your shoulder workout instead of starting off kind of burning yourself out before you're doing the military press. And honestly, for me, it's putting 10-pound weights on both sides was all I really needed. I did start off with 25s, and to be honest with you, it was too heavy. Maybe in time, now it's been a long time since I've worked out on a machine like this, but maybe in time I can go heavier. But the 10 pounds, I mean, honestly, this is pretty heavy for this range of motion. And to do the military press, we're just going to raise this up, pull that forward or back, and it will drop right down on the stopper, and now we're set up where we can do the military press. And you might just want to move these handles just off to the side. It is a little weird that you just got to get used to it. It's kind of like doing a pull-up with a dip machine on that end of the pull-up stand, the pull-up rack. Same kind of thing with this is you're going to have this next to you. So always kind of factor that in. You don't want to like smack your elbows. But originally I did try to go this motion with the handles in the front. And I mean, it feels okay, but the more you put weight on, it just didn't feel perfect. So I moved back one. And this right here is way more ideal for me. And again, it's a good option that they put these on here because all body types are different. Now this machine can handle up to 700 pounds. I'll never put 700 on here, but it did state in the manual that I saw online, because it didn't come in the box, that it can handle 700. So keep that in mind if you're going to really be a power lifter. But starting off with the handles in the front, it's almost like I'm pushing it forward because it's that much more forward than where my shoulders are. But the handles in the back are a lot more lined up with where my shoulders are at, and it targets it a lot. It's a lot more comfortable. Now I don't recommend doing something like this. Is you see people at the gym where they'll face the seat and they'll work out this way. Now the problem with that is you're leaned forward, and when you're pushing, there's really nothing stabilizing your back. So this could end in an injury. So you can add this to the workout, like it's a third option, but I'm not going to recommend it because it's just not, you could hurt yourself. There's nothing supporting me, and the slightest movement, you could feel it for a long time. I'll go over some specs really quick, and I did mess up. Where this is sitting wasn't exactly where I was originally going to put it, and maybe I looked at something wrong. Luckily, it works out because, believe me, this room is full, and this is probably my final piece, providing nothing else happens to a machine that I have. But if you're looking to add this, it does come out 41 inches, and I believe it was 44 inches wide. 44 inches wide. And it does come up to 51, 52 inches high if you're using the shoulder press. But if you want to use the deltoids, this is going to be a little bit higher. And at its maxed out height here, the machine does come up about 65 inches high. And if you have a weight plate on here, 45, you're just under 66. And if you have a tight room like I do, just your range of motion, I mean, you're going to need that 44 inches wide, because when the deltoids do come out, it will be at that 44 inch mark. So it's fine to have something next to here. Just give yourself enough room where you can still do this workout. You can still get at all the plates on here without smacking your head into something or running into something. It will really affect you wanting to use this machine, and you know, you pay a lot of money for it. You're going to want to use it. Just give yourself enough room. And keep in mind that the bar in front of the machine, it does get a little tricky. Like your heels are gonna hit it. I guess you could put your feet on top of here, but I do have a little, my floor is not completely flat. I am in the basement. Get a little bit of wobbly, but if my feet are flat and I start doing the motion, I kind of have the base down. It's not that you're gonna shake this thing. Believe me, this is heavy, but it's a little weird because your heels are going to hit that bar or that base when you're doing the workouts. And if you have cats like I do, you have pets, right now at the highest position is not where I'm going to leave this when it just sits. I will lower it down where the military press, the shoulder part, will actually come down further just to prevent anything that could happen. My cat's a jumper. If you have a jumper yourself, you might want to just think about leaving it down in the lower position when you're not using it. And all in all, there was 2 different bolt sizes, nut sizes. So you're not going to need a ton of tools. You'll need a knife to pry through everything. But just a couple of socket wrenches or wrenches themselves is all you'll need to put this together. There's no needing a hammer, there's no screwdriver, no Allen wrenches involved. If you just have the bare minimum of the tools, it does come with its own tools. I never use those just because I do have a set of my own, but they do supply. It's just going to take a little bit longer. But if you're looking for a shoulder machine to switch it up from free weights to using a machine, I think this is perfect. This is what I was looking for, and being one of the last machines, probably the last machine that I can fit in this room, I was extra careful. I thought about it. What do I really want? As cool as a chest machine would be, I have the bench. I have some other machines here that can target the chest. I really didn't have anything for shoulders except for a backwards motion, kind of hitting the rear deltoids. So I wanted a shoulder machine that was affordable, and that's what I think this Titan Fitness is. It'll be a good change up when I don't want to use free weights and I just want to sit on a machine. Not saying it's laziness, but just giving yourself something to kind of stimulate your mind, because working at home can be challenging. And I've been doing this since 2016, 2017, and I haven't joined a gym yet. I enjoy working out at home, and this is really going to help. I'm glad I picked this machine up. It feels good. I've only had this for a couple of days assembled. It's actually sitting in the garage for almost 2 weeks. It's just, I wasn't looking forward to putting this together, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. Mostly did it on my own, but it worked out. And you know, if that's what's keeping you from putting together a machine, I was gonna do like an unboxing and putting it together, and I just thought I'll go over some specs. It's pretty cut and dry if you just follow the instructions. But as far as the stability on here, the range of motion, how it targets, this is perfect. I'm happy I picked this up. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. I want to thank everybody for watching. I'll see you guys next time. We'll have a couple more reviews in time down here. There is some equipment that I've had for a good portion, a year or two, that I've been using. Just get the feel for it. You know, a lot of the machines, you know, when people ask you how many times a week do I use something, I mean, it just depends on how many times I work that muscle. Like, you do have your off weeks, but for something like this, probably once a week or once every 2 weeks, because I'm gonna go for, you know, the free weight and then the machine. Like, having options down here is what keeps me kind of going, because I don't have a gym to go to. I come down to the basement, and I need something to kind of stimulate my mind, not necessarily like motivation, but different outlets to have down here. It's kind of like playing games or going shopping. Like, you want to have, you know, a variety of things, and that's how I felt about this gym. And believe me, it took me a long time. I stated, you know, 2017, started buying some equipment 2018, and it's taken me this long, 2024, to get pretty much completed down in this very gym. And this very reason right here is why I'm gonna keep this down lower, because my cat is a jumper, like I stated, and I just don't want to see anything. Like, you get a little closer to the drop ceiling, who knows what she could possibly get into. It's a great machine. We do have others that I do want to kind of touch on, do some reviews on. Another Titan Fitness over here, and I got a Titan over here that this one might be our next review. Believe it or not, he kind of scared me last night when I was kind of in the what's the word I'm looking for? Not the motion, but kind of in the, I can't think of the word. Ever have that where, you know, you can't think of what you were gonna say, but in the moment? Oh my gosh, it took me like 4 minutes there. I was in the moment. Let me go back in time here. Probably do this one next. Lighting's kind of weird. Probably do this one next, and then I was in the moment, and I turned around and I go, oh my gosh, there's somebody standing here. It's like, how many times have I been down here working out and I don't know he's here? You got me.